You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or dsw.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
Patriarchy is what's wrong with you.
What fresh hell?
Laughing in the face of motherhood.
We're only going to be awake for 14 hours, and you've just said 37 hours of activities.
With Margaret Abels
And Amy Wilson.
Sounds more ritualistic when you give it a Swedish name.
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas
so you don't have to.
As we've already established, if you miss a tea time, the universe implodes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Fresh Hell? Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Margaret.
And this is Amy. Today we're talking about what's the mom equivalent of golf?
I mean, I loved this question on the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/whatfreshhellcast. Shall I, Amy?
Yes. This is an edited down version, by the way, but this is such a good question that I wanted to lay it out. Thank you, anonymous listener.
I'm finding that my husband easily makes personal social time for himself, and I can't seem to be able to find my own things in the same way. I find that dads will easily carve out time for themselves and moms work around the family schedule. I'm not looking for advice on how to negotiate that within my own family. My husband is totally willing, and I am so involved with my kids that I would not feel guilty taking time to myself. My issue is that I seem to have a big social battery and can't find the right outlet for it, since it requires finding others to do an activity with. Something like golf that needs to be blocked off. Anyone have good activity ideas?
There's like 80 topics in here, and we're going to go through them all. This is a great question, and we're going to get at it today. And I can't believe we haven't talked about this on the mic in 10 years because we've certainly talked about it off the mic.
Oh, yes.
But I'm going to come in hot and say you can't think of a thing that's like golf because there is no equivalent to golf for reasons which we'll get into.
For reasons. I'm also going to come in very hot and say that I had 3 kids, 3 and under. My husband was a big golfer, still loves to golf. His family is big into golf. Like, golf is a thing the guys do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I came in pretty hot, and I was like, you're not playing golf for the next 4 years, except for on special occasions. Like, you can't work 50 hours a week and then take functionally 9 hours on a Saturday to play golf. It's just not fair to me, and I'm not signing up for it. By the time you drive to the golf course, you play 6 hours of golf. Then you got to have a beer after golf to talk about the golf. It's basically 8 to 9 hours. It's the whole day. While I now add a 6th day of full-time childcare, I was like, it's not happening on my watch, buddy. I mean, my husband and I discussed it, but he was pretty responsive to it. And also, when we go on holidays, you can't golf 5 days when we're away and leave me with
3 kids to get the sunscreen on
and my family or your family.
Right.
And there was pushback from both families. Nagging wife won't let her darling husband play golf. I was like, come at me, bros. I don't care. It's not happening.
I applaud that stance. It is certainly culturally normalized. While a male parent on vacation with their own kids wants to miss an entire day of vacation to do something that, speaking as a non-golfer, it kind of seems like you get other chances to do in other places. Like, I don't care that you didn't get to golf at the hair of the dog course in Puerto Rico, right? Like, who cares? Who cares? Do it at home next weekend.
No one except for all the men who somehow are like, what kind of crazy witch would not want their husband to golf 4 out of the 5 days on their only vacation of the year?
Right.
The kind of crazy witch is me. By the way, while I'm at a pool with 3 kids under 8.
And I want to do some disclaimers at the beginning here. Yes, we know that some women golf and enjoy golfing and like to golf, and that this listener could take up golfing. Yes, that's totally a possible thing. And I know women who golf and enjoy it, and good for them. I also know that not all men golf and not all men would do this. And my husband is wonderful, and my husband participates in childcare. Good for you. But this is a large, if heteronormative dynamic that plays out with a lot of people. And if it isn't golf, I can think of somebody else who had a new baby And her husband was like, this is the perfect time for me to train for a marathon. This is perfect for me to go to like 5-hour training runs every weekend morning. And I feel like it is just too often normalized that the male in a male-female relationship gets to have a large, important hobby, but it's important. No, golf isn't just a hobby. Men get to have that and women don't.
And it could also be fixing cars in the garage. It could also be building projects. It could be
Right.
a lot of different things that take many, many hours. When I had my young kids, I was blogging and I was doing some things for money, but I wasn't working outside of the house. I mean, the weekends were my only time that I got time away from the kids. And I will also say that an important part of this is the magical thinking about how much time exists in 2 weekend days. Because my husband would often be like, I'm going to play golf and then I'm going to fix the bathroom sink and then I'll take the kids out so you can get a nap and then I'll blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, I cannot wait for you to be the first person to bend the space-time continuum because we're only going to be awake for 14 hours and you've just said 37 hours of activities.
That definitely tends to go with this. Like the parent who really wants to be doing these long training runs, say, or golfing or whatever, they tend to be overly optimistic in how they're going to make up for it in the like 18 minutes before the kids go to bed when they get home. That definitely goes with it too. Like, let's just be
Yes.
honest. Like, let's just own it that I'm doing you a favor of favors, handling an entire summer Saturday by myself again.
I will say my husband is great. He's extremely helpful with the kids. I praise him all the time on the podcast, but he's getting a spanking on this episode because golf is the bane of my existence. Now that the kids are older and I'm like, go play golf all day, I don't care because the kids are gone too. Like I'd rather have the time alone or whatever. When we're on vacation, go play golf. I have 2 more annoyances. Number 1, dragging golf clubs through the airport.
Oy,
My
yeah.
husband's often off getting the rental car. At times, I have had like my 4-year-old daughter like dragging golf clubs, and people are like, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with me is I only have 2 hands. The other huge rule in my house is that you can pick a lane. You can play golf or you can talk about golf, but you cannot play golf for 6 hours or 8 hours and then come home and talk about golf for 2 hours. I don't care. I don't care how your shot was on number 6. I don't care that you made it over the water onto the green. I would rather you like tell me about your dreams for 3 hours than discuss golf with me. Do not talk to me about golf.
Because you're like the atlas you've been holding up the world the whole time. And then they come
And
home
now I'm
like,
going to have to
"There was a-"
listen to like, oh my God, you put it in for a birdie on number 12. I don't care.
So this listener, we're going to solve her problem today. And all of our listeners came with many ideas, which we're going to go through. But she says, I'm finding my husband easily makes personal, social time for himself, and I'm having a hard time. I just don't seem to be able to do it. What's wrong with me? And I'm like, patriarchy is what's wrong with you. Society is what's
It's
wrong
baked
with you.
in the cake, as Amy likes to say.
That's right. There's a reason that, why can't I just think of something that allows me to disappear? And so today we're going to come up with an activity for our anonymous listener to do, or several maybe, that are going to fill this need she has for leisure and connection in her life. And here's why I want to say golf is particularly hard to match. So here's the criteria we're going to be looking for, which I think is pretty hard.
Hit me.
4 to 8 hour time commitment. We've already covered that.
Nonsense.
It's blocked out ahead of time. This is another really important one. You're doing it with other people. It's on the calendar.
There's a tea time.
You can't be late for tea time. I recently had this. I was racing. I was driving like well over the speed limit to meet my spouse at a golf course with his golf clubs because there's no time we go anywhere in the world that we can't be overly optimistic about fitting in a round of golf,
Oh.
you know, at the beginning and the end or somewhere in the middle. So this
Now
was
I'm mad at your David, too. All the Davids.
right. If we just leave half a day early and then you drop me and then go. And so it was, some crazy thing like that. So I'm racing for the golf clubs and the tee time was 12:15. It's 12:07 and I have 22 minutes till I get there, right? Like Google Maps doesn't lie. You know that. I'm getting there at 12:29. And I can tell he's kind of panicking on the phone. And I said, well, what happens? What happens if it gets to be 12:15? And he's like, our tee time is 12:15. And I said, well, what happens if it's 12:15? And like, he didn't know. It was like the universe would collapse, right? Like
Just a complete implosion of the entire planet.
just like silence, like panicked breathing, trying to imagine such a thing. And like, do you just go out and somebody will tell you to come get your clubs? And then I was like, can you use somebody else's clubs for the first hole? Like, that's clearly also unthinkable, which is why you have to drag golf clubs to the airport.
That's another thing that like I will never understand. You're playing with 3 other people who have golf clubs, but yet my 6-year-old has to carry your golf clubs through an airport while you kindly go get the rental car to save time, which I'm all for. But like it's really not possible for you just to borrow the golf clubs of the person you're playing with. I guess it's like someone saying to me like, "Can't you just borrow Amy's clothes on vacation?" No, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't get it. That's for sure.
I get that I don't get it. We just packed up one of my kids from college, end of year to bring home from college. And how do you fit everything in the trunk? It's not fitting. Well, gee, it fit on the way up there. Now, part of the reason it fit on the way up there is that I packed it in vacuum sealed perfection of, using every available inch.
Your fingerprints are all over that.
Right. And on the way home, it's just like, throw it on, just put it in bags, any bag, any bag.
It's all like grocery store reusable bags.
That's literally what it was. Fresh Direct is a local store here. So like 50 half full Fresh Direct bags being taken out to the car. And it's not fitting. I'm like, would it fit on the way up? The same amount of stuff fit in the same car with another person. My mom came with me to drop them off. So I'm like, okay, we have one fewer person. And well, what was the difference? The golf clubs. The golf clubs. So to my husband's credit, it was his problem. We needed to have the golf clubs with us for reasons. And so the clubs had to come out and they ended up, he made it work. But yeah, we couldn't fit everything. Why? Because we had to have a set of golf clubs with us to get my kid home from college.
I think our golf magazine sponsorship opportunities are really going down the drain on this episode.
We don't care. So I didn't even like equipment. I don't think you need to have paint in the rear equipment that's really big and bulky for your leisure activity to count, but it's certainly a particular thing about golf. That seems hard to match, that it's going to take up this much space in your car and your mental load of how you're going to bring your equipment.
Yeah.
It's expensive. Golfing is at least $100 a round, I think.
You could definitely play on public courses near us for cheaper, but yes.
Okay. So you can't back out. You can't be late. You can't miss your tee time. So even if like your kid is sick, it's like, but I said I'd play. So you can't just not go.
No. You've got to go.
You've got to go.
As we've already established, if you miss a tee time, the universe implodes. We can't take that chance.
Oh, I didn't even finish that story. Like, because now don't you want to know like what happens when you miss your tee time? Because he was going to say, passing thunderstorm. His tee time was delayed like 20 minutes.
See, God was not ready to destroy the earth that day, so he sent a thunderstorm instead.
It can't happen yet.
No.
I'm not ready for everybody to find out what happens. No. Literally, like a thunderstorm came over and he's
room
like, it's
up
amazing.
here for 3 billion people. We're going to have to send a thunderstorm.
Yeah, I did drive through some rain, and then like I pull in, and my husband's in the parking lot like, it's fine. They just paused because of the rain. Yeah, the world was saved.
Try to think of an example of something where your husband would come to you with that sense of urgency.
Right.
I mean, a child in a hospital, maybe. I mean, there's not a lot of things.
I was definitely taking on secondhand anxiety.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I have a few more reasons why golf is hard to match as a leisure activity, but we're going to try.
I love it. Amy, we have 2 very annoying but slightly adorable cats at my house, and the litter robot 4 from Whisker has transformed the job of taking care of the litter box. And that's according to my teenagers, because as you know, I don't change cat litter. That's their job.
That's right. The litter robot from Whisker is a self-cleaning litter box with smart odor control that eliminates the chore of daily scooping for everyone in your household. One single litter robot can accommodate up to 5 cats.
We are all set on cats, thank you. But my family also loves the Whisker app that works with the litter robot. It tells my kids when cycles are complete and when the unit needs attention. Mom's not yelling at them anymore because the Whisker app is telling them on their phones, where they always are anyway. So they can't claim they don't know when the litter robot needs their attention.
The future is feline. Learn more about Whisker litter robot models and starter kits today. Take an additional $50 off bundles with code FRESH.
That's an additional $50 off bundles with code FRESH. Visit whisker.com/fresh to shop now. Moms are used to putting everyone else's needs before their own. And maybe, Amy, that's why often our tanks are running on empty by the end of the day, week, month. Your mileage may vary. And that's why therapy through Rula can be a helpful resource for figuring out and asking for the help you need for a change.
Rula knows that when it comes to therapy, costs can be prohibitive. That's why Rula provides in-network covered care for most major insurance plans. Rula partners with a network of over 23,000 therapists and psychiatrists nationwide, enabling you to find just the right therapist based on your needs and preferences.
You listen to this podcast and you know that Amy and I are both huge fans of therapy. It helps reset, clarify. It's something that I really think every mom can benefit from. You talk, you figure things out, and that's how things start getting better.
Thousands of parents are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that's actually covered by insurance and helping them and their families. And so can you. Visit rula.com/WFH to get started.
Gonna spell it. That's RULA.com/WFH.
Well, I'm coming in hot to say it is worth taking care of your skin. It's worth finding the right products to keep your skin smooth and hydrated. Let me tell you, I have tried many products, and time after time, I come back to Osea.
Amy, same. Osea just sent us their anti-aging body balm to try. It combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving my skin smoother, firmer, and beautifully supple.
Osea's body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel. Since using this product, I really have noticed firmer and smoother skin, backs of my hands, knees, elbows. It really helps.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com.
So another reason that I think golf, it scratches a lot of itches, is that you do it with other people. And so it's social by design. I mean, you can go to the range by yourself, but you don't usually go play 18 holes by yourself. You usually are playing with other people, which gives it accountability, but it also gives it a social aspect.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a net positive. I think it's the only time that my husband talks to people who are not me or friends of mine. You know, he just doesn't. We have a little 9-hole little golf course, and he plays every morning. Then he just meets up with people, and now he has friends. And I'm like, I love this for you. It's like a little play date for him, and I love that for him.
It's true.
And it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, it takes no time away from me for him to go do it.
My dad, we got a little bit older. This is not when we were little. He was in a group that they called the Dew Boys because they would go out so early that there would still be dew on the greens. So they'd be sort of home by the time the kids were out and about.
Everybody's got a name for their little group, too. It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's how men socialize.
It's also a work activity, and work is carrying a lot of water there. It's a work activity, wink. But it is. I mean, it's a sanctioned, you can take time off from work to go do this because you're talking to people who you might work with or want to work with.
Networking. Yeah.
It's networking.
Yeah.
It's also a travel activity. My spouse has definitely gone on trips that are, you like to golf, I like to golf. Let's go to this place and golf.
And I will say, for all my anti-golf stance, from my husband's 40th birthday, I took him on a wonderful golf trip. I mean, I am encouraging of his joy in golf, but it's got to be 50-50. And when it gets 90-10, I'm like, we're not doing this.
Right. And it's not that I'm saying I think traveling to play golf is a bad thing. I'm saying that it makes it something that's pretty hard for a typical listener or the listener who is asking this question, but like, what can I do? Right? That takes 8 hours, has to be scheduled way in advance with other people who will definitely show up just like me, who are willing to go on trips that are completely sanctioned, sometimes paid for by your workplace because it's work that involves, super heavy equipment that people will bring for you, right? Like an activity that does all these things feels impossible to match. And then you get tips like just go get a mani-pedi, which we could do another episode on. A manicure and pedicure is not relaxing.
Right.
That's a hill that I'll die on. That's grooming.
Yeah.
That's to look prettier.
Personal care. Yeah.
And
no,
kind of sit
not
there.
into
And
that.
I like to kind of scroll my phone a little bit, but then at some point you can't. Like after you soak your fingers in the water, then they're going to put the color on, and then you're just stuck looking at them or talking, I guess, to a stranger for a little while.
Yeah, and we went to a beautiful golf resort for my husband's 40th. I don't like shopping. I don't like to do any of the quote unquote wifely activities. I'll go to the spot once maybe and get a massage as a treat, but even that, I don't really want to do that. I mean, I'm not interested in any of those things. Now, I'm very happy to sit by the pool and read a book for 8 hours, and that's fine.
That's it.
But the idea that there is an equivalent activity is not true.
It's hard. So like this matching joy block, it kind of doesn't exist.
Correct.
And so then we always like to say like, but is that a problem? Who cares? Who cares if there's not a matching joy block for you?
Me.
I care. Right? But
I believe you're asking rhetorical questions, but I do know the answers to all of them.
everyone would have a listening ear in you. I want to talk about something called the leisure time gender gap.
This is fascinating to me, and I'm so glad you put this together.
It's created by golf. It's proved by golf. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
So across all age groups, ages and stages, having kids, not having kids, men, when Pew Research asked them to do a time, what do they call it? A time use study? How are you using your time?
Yeah.
And they did this in 2013 and they did it again in 2021, same results, even amidst the pandemic. Men report having more leisure time than women. And the biggest gap between men and women is for men and women with kids under 4 at home.
Well, this is why I banned golf, guys.
This is it. For employed husbands with children under 5 at home, they have almost 25 hours of leisure time per week, 24.6.
That is bonkers. I had 1.2 if I was lucky.
Yeah, it's north of 3 hours a day. It's like 3.5 hours a day of leisure time. Children under 5 at home. Employed wives with children under 5 at home, 20 hours of leisure time per week. I think this means lying on the couch looking at your phone, like, rotting or watching TV. Like, okay.
Right. You're not going out. That's also true that like your Real Housewives time may be leisure time, but you're not going out and socializing.
You're not. And sometimes a response to the men golf and they take too much time away. It's like, well, women watch Real Housewives, or, 30 years ago is, well, women watch soap operas. But in a typical week, working husbands spend an average of 15 and a half hours watching TV, and working wives report 13.2 hours. So they're also watching 2.5 hours more of television than the women are.
And I want to know how many of those 13.2 hours for women are like Bluey and Blue's Clues,
Co-watching, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, I am watching Miss Rachel. No, I did see what that's a good point.
I want to know.
So it matters because this gap is sort of accepted and maintained. And the more hands-on the parenting is, the bigger the gap. Once your kids are teenagers, men are reporting about 2 hours a week more leisure time than their wives, probably because there's just less to do. There's fewer diapers to change, right? There's less places to drive. And
leisure time now, I'm like, take whatever. I have no issue with leisure time. But here's another truth bomb that I'm going to lay on you, Amy, about golf. Culturally, I feel like golf is a throwback to men's jobs are to spend as little time with their annoying, naggy wives as possible.
Yep.
I feel like my husband and I are very, very good friends who really enjoy spending time together. And I've never doubted that about him. But the country club guys, certainly as part of their conversation, and definitely when I was resisting golf, it becomes a little bit like, hey, the old ball and chain wants him at home. I'm like, the old ball and chain does want him at home. And if he doesn't want to be at home with the old ball and chain, he can divorce me. But I'm not interested in how horrible it is for my husband to have to be around me. And that golf is the solution.
Or your children.
Or my children. And I mean, in some ways, I think we have a slightly overinflated view of like, we're supposed to be besties and perfect romantic partners and lovers and all of these things that go into marriage that puts pressure on marriage. But I don't love the like, thank God we're away from those harpies.
That's
I'm just
true.
like, I'm not here for that, guys. I'm definitely not interested in participating in any kind of dialogue around, thank God my husband gets away from my shrewish self.
And that would be the only reason that he's not there. In other words, like you won't let him, or you're complaining or whatever. Not that like, I never see my kids during the week. I'm not going to miss them on a Saturday also. Maybe when they're older. I feel like that was sort of the tack that my husband took at some point. He's like, yeah, I'm missing it. I was like, I'm drowning. This isn't working. And he's like, yeah, it'll be there. And I want to underline what you said. Like, it is true. Like there's a time in your life, in your parenting journey, when leisure time is a zero-sum game. Either you're relaxing or I am, but we can't both be doing it at the same time. And the day is coming when You will both have a couple hours on a Saturday to do whatever because the kids don't need you. And even then you are left with this, but I don't know what to do
With my time.
with my time because my friends aren't available or this. And it isn't as easy as like, I guess you could go take up golfing if you want to with other women who golf. It doesn't appeal to me. I think I have this sort of underlying resentment of the time that it takes, right?
Right. And that there is absolutely no equivalent. And I want to be clear that I did fundamentally forbid my husband from playing golf, but the conversation was not like, I'm going to tie you to the sofa so you can't go play golf. My husband grew up working in a golf shop. I mean, he really loves golf and he plays well and he loves it. But yeah, we did have exactly the conversation of like, there may be 5 years where you cannot play as much golf as you want. But obviously, if he was like, my mental health depends on playing golf, we would have maybe had a different conversation about like, okay, but that means you come home early one day from work or whatever, like if
Right.
to balance it. But I think being aware that this is a problem without it becoming the choice between like either you're the old ball and chain who's no fun or you do everything by yourself is not the conversation you want to be having about this. Despite the fact that all the guys are like, poor Dave, can't come out to golf.
Because he's parenting his children.
Oh, poor guy.
But even less than like golf is bad. How can you, let's say you have a supportive spouse.
Right.
I'm going to quote Brunette Babe on Reddit. I don't know her, but I thought she put this question in a pretty funny way. She says, I want to leave the house for 6 hours and enjoy my life, but I don't want to spend money. And I would like to say, hey, babe, I'm going blank Sunday. Cool. And he can stay with the 8-month-old while I'll have some fun. What would that be?
Right.
So what is that, right? And so that's what we're really trying to get at. Not like, how can we get them to stop golfing? But it's like, how can we find a block of leisure for ourselves that is satisfying in the same way golf is satisfying, and then go get it, and then go get that for yourself. And you do have to be really deliberate about it because it's not going to be handed to you.
Absolutely. And the way that we started this in my house was Saturday sleep-in. Every Saturday, my husband was in charge of the kids until noon because I had a really hard week. He was gone basically Monday to Friday, maybe came home from like the end of bath time, tickles and bed. But basically I was alone doing it all week long. But I always knew on Friday I could get into bed with a book at 8, read for 3 hours, and if I wanted to, sleep in as late as I wanted to on Saturday, and then get up and do whatever. Lay around on the couch, watch a movie, whatever it happened to be. And it's just free time that I think we need more than like putting an activity in there necessarily.
Well, if putting an activity in there, if blocking it out in the way golf is blocked out, like every Saturday, if that helps, then do that. For you, you did. It was Saturday. It was on the, maybe it wasn't in the calendar, but it was in your head's calendars that this is Saturday and that's your time. And so doing that seems crucial. But then what do you do at that time? Our listeners had so many ideas for our listener with this leisure time question.
All right, let's take a break and lay those on.
Got some good ideas.
Amy, when you take Nutrafol every day, and you know that I do, every day can be a good hair day.
So many good hair days around here, Margaret.
Killing it.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol supports hair health from within, working over time to deliver results you can see and feel.
Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested. Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING. It's so important for our kids to be confident in the water because then our kids will be safe. But then you have to deal with cold pools, cranky adults swimming laps right next to them, and getting in the water with the kids. Yuck.
Amy, you're giving me flashbacks, but not anymore. Now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish Swim School is a premier parent-trusted learn-to-swim brand designed intentionally for both kids and parents with a focus on confidence, safety, and progress, not just swim skills.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy and separate viewing areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
And they offer year-round swim lessons for children as young as 4 months up to 12 years old, with flexible scheduling and easy makeups through the Goldfish Swim School app.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free and find a location near you and enroll using the promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE.
And now, who does your kid love more, mom or dad? From the What Fresh Hell podcast. Mom carried child for 9 long months before enduring the lengthy pain of childbirth.
Dad did not do any of those things.
Daddy is the best.
Mom carefully considers children's well-being and safety.
Dad can throw the baby like 10 feet in the air.
I love Daddy.
Mom spent 45 minutes last night carefully supervising homework and repeatedly explaining the concept of fractions.
Dad spent 4 minutes last night singing in a hilarious voice.
It's totally Daddy.
Mom lovingly crafts healthy meals made of organic ingredients.
Dad invented ice cream for breakfast.
Oh, for God's sakes, this is totally unfair. Mom provides unconditional love.
Dad provides unconditional love and makes fart noises on command.
Daddy, 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 Daddy.
So our listeners came in hot for the listener in our Facebook group who said, like, what can I do? I'm having a hard time finding this
leisure time that I hear about.
Why can't I find this thing? There must be something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you, but we're going to help you find it. Now, we don't like to yuck yums on this podcast, but we might goof on some of these because none of them are golf. As I think we have already demonstrated, golf has a unique way to extend its tentacles into everywhere you go and everything you do, and it's completely non-negotiable. So some of these aren't quite that.
Love it.
But let's try. The me time category. Mani-pedis, I think I've rejected that. I think that's like a tight 90 minutes. That's grooming. I mean, go if you want, but that doesn't count.
Haircuts, mani-pedis, to me don't count. I agree. It's kind of work.
Right. All right. Well, let's move on to sports because there were a lot of sports suggestions. I am not particularly sporty, but that doesn't mean that this wouldn't be a good thing for me to try. Allison says pickleball. I play a little pickleball. You're good.
I'm way into pickleball. I'm a big pickler. I will say I play a lot with my husband, and when we go on vacation, it's a fun activity for us to do together. Now my kids are getting into it. I like pickleball. It's at least 3 hours if you like drive there, pickle for an hour.
Is that what you kids call it? You pickle?
Yeah, I like a little pickleball. I would not have had energy for pickleball when my kids were under 5. There was no way I wanted to do anything sporty when my kids were under 5.
I am not athletic at all. What I like about pickleball is that you can kind of play it like, it's so much easier than tennis, right? It's ping pong with a wiffle ball is basically what you're doing. And so like you can take a stab at it and get it across the net after 10 minutes. Now, your kids might yell at you that you're terrible, like they do for me. So it quickly became like not fun. It was fun for me for that moment when everybody was trying something new, and now it's become totally serious with leagues.
They've moved on without you. Yeah, they're like,
yeah. So I'm like, too late.
Smashing the ball in your face.
Goodbye. But it is possible to learn it as an adult.
I will say that for me, pickleball, very enjoyable now. Exercise classes, I didn't want to do any of that. I was so tired all the time when I had 3 little kids. There was nothing appealing to me. I think I had a gym membership, and I would occasionally go and just take a long shower and then like sit in the sauna and go in the steam room and then wait. And like I kind of like mini spot it sometimes, which I liked.
And Alicia does jujitsu. She started a jujitsu class with 5 other moms. She says, our side of the mat is only women, and we only roll with each other. What I like about this is that, because I want it to be social too, like getting a mani-pedi is not social. Unlike you could go with a friend, I guess, but
Pickleball is not terribly social. Like you're hitting a ball most of the time. It's not like golf where you're sitting and chatting.
That's true. There's not as much waiting around for somebody else to have a turn or whatever. But jujitsu, and Alicia got into this because she was taking her kids. And then some of the moms were like, maybe we should do this. And so I feel like, you're really like niching down in a good way. Like if you're doing jujitsu, you're already kind of finding your people.
Yeah, I feel like that's fun. I did a tap dancing class, adult tap dancing, loved it. I feel like classes are a good category. Danielle says art classes, any classes, structured, reliable. They have a start time. They're not totally inexpensive depending on what you're doing.
Right. They don't have to be hugely expensive, but you paid for it. And
Spanish class, crafting class. I will say crafting, I feel like tends to involve like I'm making a blanket for the baby or I'm like learning to decorate cakes for the birthday. Like it still ties into the family a little bit.
it's kin keeping, right? You're learning to kin keep better. I don't want it to be that. But Abby says you can build relationships around a shared interest. There's lots of opportunity for conversation. Unlike pickleball, you're sitting there, learning a needlepoint and you can talk and people will be consistent. Emily says she took a knitting class on how to make a sweater once a week for 6 weeks. Many people chatted, but there were people who didn't. You could choose your own social adventure.
I really like that.
So maybe knitting. And Gina says adult dance classes.
That's a fun one. It's a lot of time and like being in community theater is a great one. It's fun. It's a lot of time. Big time commitment.
And talk about non-negotiable.
Got to be at rehearsal.
Right.
The director will show up at your house and drag you there.
Talking about the gym, Tina said she does gym group fitness classes. I do this. Like I go to the same yoga class and I like sort of wave hi to people as I roll up my mat. And one time we went out for lunch for somebody's birthday. But I guess it's like you got to lean in a little bit, like Nicholas Epley was saying on the Fresh Take we did with him. And you can create lunch, dinner, let's do this after, that kind of thing.
Yeah. My fitness class that I go to is the same group of people and they're waiting for me, when I don't show up for a week. Oh, where were you? Like, it's nice to have, it also keeps me fitter because I have to go because otherwise they're like, where have you been?
Becca says it's good because you can go out to lunch yourself afterwards. If you don't have friends in the class, just go out to lunch by yourself. As you were saying, tech on the time, little steam, little sauna, little shower. I'm searching for this thing that's going to keep you out of the house for a nice long leisure block that is not just stressful.
Here's my true suggestion. I don't know if it's on the list. Lunch with friends followed by a 3-hour nap. That is my idea of like the perfect outing for a tired mom. Like I will go out to lunch. I can have a beer or a glass of wine with lunch if I want. We have a 2-hour lunch and then there's 3 hours afterwards reserved for me to take a nap. That's a great 6-hour activity for me.
That lunchtime glass of wine is going to come in handy, right? When you hit the pillow. This brings me to this whole group that people came up with. There's a lot of versions of friend rituals. And this one really appealed to me because it's like the mani-pedi is for your nails and the knitting class is to make a sweater for somebody else. And I'm not social and I'm not out. And if you'd make plans with somebody, they flake half the time because they're a mom too and somebody's sick. Golf is non-negotiable, but like, let's have coffee today feels extremely negotiable, unfortunately. But if you create rituals, so we had some great ideas around this. Jane says, chit-chat night. It's literally just sitting around with a beverage and talking. Yes, it doesn't happen for 5-6 hours in the middle of a Saturday. Every other Friday night, we'll get together. This is moms. Sometimes it's just 2 of us. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 of us. Once a month or so, we'll do a dinner and the husbands and kids are invited too, but it's chit chat night and it's every Friday.
Love it. I like to have parameters though. We're not allowed to talk about school, the kids. Like, I don't want to go out with a group of moms and be like, did you think that Mrs. Harrison's assignment was okay for 7th grade? Ugh, I would have rather stayed home. Like, I like to go out and be like, we're not talking about the kids. Book club sometimes does that if you've got a book, but I do find sometimes chit chat night gets a little like, Mikey has a strange rash. Let me show you a picture of it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to leave the house for this experience.
That's harder work. And I think you're right, because otherwise the thing that you had in common, I'll make a mom friend with somebody that one of my kids went to school with along the way and they don't go to the same school anymore. And then you get together for coffee and like you find like you don't really have anything to talk about because what you had to talk about was soccer or ballet or or the thing that your kids had in common or the common experience they were having, and you don't really know. It's not that you don't like them, it's that you don't really know if you like them because it was all about the kids. So you're right.
Yeah, like I'm very happy to go out and kiki with friends, but I don't want to go out and be like, my kid got into a better college than yours, like that. And sometimes I just have to give voice to it. Anything but our children.
Yeah. Dale Ann says schedule fika with friends. You want to know what fika is? I'm going to tell you. Fika with friends monthly is a good place to start, says Dale Ann. And then sometimes you have to work up to weekly with certain friends. So she finds that it's ideal. Sometimes you need a weekly, fika, monthly. Did you know what fika was?
No, never heard it before.
It's very important that you know what this is because I'm going to totally put this ritual in. It is a Swedish word. Fika means to have something sweet to eat and something hot to drink. So you're having coffee and tea and a little something. That's a dessert.
A little nosh, as we say in
A
New
little
York.
nosh, but you would never say, let's have a fika and then you just get coffee. Like you can't do that. That would be rude. You have to have a little something that you sit together with, and that's fika. I like this. I do a lot of coffee and walking in New York City with friends. So I don't know if I could call that a fika, but
I like a walk.
I might get a fika in a bag.
Get a fika to go.
But I love the idea that we have a monthly fika, and it sounds more ritualistic when you give it a Swedish name. This is something that we do. I have lots of friends that I like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. Let's meet for coffee, but I don't have the ritual. And that's what golf provides for men and their friends.
Two things. One, I've often tried to be like first Monday of the month, we're all going to go for cocktails. Here's 20 people, whoever can show up. Might be 3, might be 20. We're going to just go to a local place and have a drink or a beverage of some sort. The other thing I like is, can you do something tonight or tomorrow? Because I find sometimes the scheduling is 90% of the conversation, and then it kind of feels like it's not worth it.
You'd be surprised who's available. Like, are you available tonight?
Yeah, you and I recently met up with our husbands, and wasn't it kind of like, hey, are you free Friday
This
on
Saturday?
a Tuesday?
Yeah.
And we were like, yep, we are. And there we were at dinner. And I feel like we could have spent 3 months being like, we should plan that.
Right. I feel like I'm a little shy to do this, but why not? You know, this is what I've learned from that Nicholas Epley thing. That should be the one. I'd be like, we're all meeting for cocktails. Emily has a standing coffee date every Friday. Meet at a bakery, little fika. Everybody knows it's every Friday. So you don't have to like tell people if you're not coming, or you just come or don't. But there's a standing thing every Friday. And she says everybody knows to bring a book in case you show up.
And you're the only
and
one.
nobody else comes. Then you're at the bakery and you have a time at the bakery reading your book that you're out of the house. That is a standing thing. I don't know if that's harder or easier, but I'm attracted to that idea. Like every Friday, I'm going to do this.
I feel like I've tried to do it a lot of times, but what happens is then it's like, okay, but not in the spring because it's softball season. So Tuesdays are no good because that's game night. It's hard to keep it going because then it's like, well, we're not going to do it in June when everyone's graduating. We're not going to do it in May when everyone's going to prom. We're not going to do it. It's hard to keep these going.
That's right. Emily said bunco, set up a bunco club.
Have you ever played bunco?
I had to look up what bunco was. It's a dice game with 12 or more players using 3 dice.
It's super fun and easy. I don't know if bunco and left, right, center are the same game, but I've played them both.
Okay.
It's fun. I mean, it's fun. You have to have an organizer. I do feel like people have gotten out of the habit of like having 12 people over to their houses. Bunco is super fun. I mean, we're moving seriously into the category of suburban mom / old lady activities.
Old lady activities. Mahjong.
Mahjong is now hip. It's hip for the youngs.
It's hip. And I am kind of like, the universe keeps telling me I have to learn to play Mahjong.
You're Mahjong curious. I can tell. You've mentioned it several times.
But I'm like this, like with my fingernails, like, please, no, I don't know how to play Mahjong. But everybody
Please, no.
It's like Stepford
No.
Wives. Everybody I talk to is like, do you play Mahjong? I'm like, no, I don't.
But you're going to.
But I'm going to have to.
You're going to. Stop resisting. I mean, if I could find a standing card game, I love to play cards. I hate board games with a passion. I would rather do anything than play like Monopoly or, God forbid, Settlers of Catan and sit there trading wheat with people. Like, miss me forever.
It's a good way to get yelled at
But
by
I
your kids.
love going to a bar and playing cards for a couple hours is my idea of a great time.
I did bar trivia.
Love bar trivia.
Recently, and that's really fun. And that's very like zero entry too. You don't really show up by yourself. You show up with one other person, you're fine. If you can get 3 or 4 people to go, you'll do better because you all get to be on the same team. You can have a Diet Coke or you can eat. It doesn't have to be very expensive, and it's fun, and it's every Tuesday, and that would be something you could kind of get going that would get you out of the house. But it's not hard. You don't have to buy anything, and you don't have to learn how to play first. It's just bar trivia.
I think we're just coming down on Amy. Check out the thread. There's lots of ideas.
Lots of good ideas.
Carve out your time. And if you are having trouble saying no to golf, call me and I will call the people in your life and tell them that no one is allowed to play golf because you have children under 5.
Yes, we haven't been socially conditioned to make sure that mothers get to disappear for 8 hours at a time.
No.
But you can start smaller and find stuff with friends. And if it can make it a little bit of a standing schedule, non-negotiable, so much the better.
Make it work, as Tim Gunn used to say.
Make it work.
Are you signed up for our newsletter? You should be. It's full of fun tips, favorite episodes, lots of just cool, fun information.
Sign up for it at the link in our show notes, or just go to our website, whatfreshhellpodcast.com. It's right there in the top right. Sign up for the newsletter once a month. Cool stuff, a lot of which hasn't been on the show. So come check it out.
Check it out. And with that, we will talk to you next time. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks, everybody.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.